Hey, just to add something, the persons around here, they're dependent on the gown, on the wheat. That's their way of maintaining themselves. But what has happened now, it doesn't even have to be made by anybody. It's just the in the evolution of a plant, there's always some change. There's chromosomes, and they're in a specific order, but as they take birth again and again, and they mixture with other plants, then you get a hybrid and a hybrid and a hybrid or the hybrid. And what has happened to the wheat, just for example, is that the wheat that Krishna and them were eating, it was only what they call one star, acorn. It's just one star. And the one star, even back then, the one star, they knew that it was light. It was very light. This is like a 5-pointed star. The wheat that we are eating is like a 5-pointed star. So what is the thing that has increased is the gluten. So one person would say, what's the big deal about gluten? Well, the problem with the gluten is it's the easier than the others to digest, but it's hard. It's hard, Now you've got 5 times the gluten. So your body goes straight to the gluten first, the sugar. You give a kid something and he doesn't want the bitter thing, he wants the sugary thing. So the body is saying, oh, I want that gluten. But then the gluten starts just making mass. In other words, your stomach grows and everything. So, and you're not using it. You're not working it off and everything. So here you got this grain that went from 1 star, now it's 5 star, and it doesn't mean better. It certainly doesn't mean better. So it's covered. And so what has it covered? It has covered the protein. The protein content in wheat has now been covered by like 5 layers of gluten. And you have to burn off the gluten. And I'm not going to burn off the gluten holding a stupid mobile in my hand. I'm not going to burn it off. So, and it's tasty because it's got sweetness to it. And that smell also when you're making the anything with wheat, that smell is just so addictive because it is addictive. It's got sugar in it, and it can turn into alcohol. So then you've got in everybody's body, there's a organ that will last 200 years. The authorities say that the adrenaline gland will last 200 years. No worry about it. Don't say that the adrenaline gland is giving so much trouble to somebody, because for the most part, it's the strongest. I mean, that's what it's supposed to be. The adrenaline gland gives strength to the body. So your adrenaline gland has the most strength within your body, each person's body. So what is the desired thing of the adrenaline gland is the protein, right? So if you are addicted to protein and not to sugar, and you're the guy that's the strongest organ, you're going to battle for that protein. So what happens is the protein, the adrenaline gland, is sitting on top of your kidneys. It's interlocked with the kidneys. It's like squeezing the kidneys, trying to get the protein, or it's punching the kidneys to get the protein. So that then the kidneys, they're having this problem of this guy sitting on top of their head and beating them, that he wants his protein. So, of course, he's trying to look for the protein in this 5-layer gluten. You know, he doesn't need the gluten, doesn't know what to do with it. He's trying to get down to the protein. So that's the big problem. And that's a big problem. And that's just a clear way of showing that this wheat, for all purposes, shouldn't be taken. You're just going to wear out your kidneys. I've tried to avoid it by making steamed, because if you make steamed flour, you take the wheat flour and you steam it, it helps out somewhat. And also, here in the ashram, we make boiled chapatis. So it somewhat helps out, but it doesn't get rid of the gluten. The gluten is, well, the gluten, you can take gluten and you can, these guys that put these paper announcements all over the walls, all over the place, they use gluten, just natural gluten. So, that's what it is, glue. But your body can take sugar out of it, so it tries, the rest of the body wants to enjoy itself. And it doesn't want to follow the order of some adrenaline gland, So there's a big fight. So I would advise, don't eat wheat. Just don't eat wheat. Just put it aside, and that's it. Because the wheat is not functioning how the wheat should function. And all you're doing is just building up your... and so many people suffering from diabetes, all you're doing is just building up your diabetes. Yeah. Oh, I'm not suffering from sugar. And then the person, all of a sudden, when he gets hit, then he probably was already on his way of suffering from sugar, but it wasn't showing. Why? Because the adrenaline gland is covering up. It's taking the protein and covering up and giving you energy. Yeah. Oh, it's something to try to think about. That go to the millet. Just at this time, it's the millet. And it's there is a wheat that is, being sold, that it's only acorn, it's only one, and it's what Krishna was eating, but generally it's very hard to get a hold of, and it's costly. And I've seen that it's sold a lot in Italy. Yeah, it's sold a lot in Italy. So that they actually know. The Italians know eating. That when everybody in Europe and the whole world was marveling at eggplant and tomatoes and everything, it was outlawed. It was not allowed to enter into Italy for a long time, until they could prove that you could have those vegetables, potatoes, tomatoes, shade plants, until they could prove to the government that they could make it so it wouldn't do damage to the body of its citizens. So the government was protecting the citizens in that way. So then what they do is they burn the outside of the eggplant and tomato, they burn it, and then they try to make sure that the seeds, now that is a really hard one, and they try to remove all the seeds, because the seeds, they can give you a gut leak. Your gut leaks. Just some things. You know, in a general sense, the food is not so edible anymore. Very difficult to find food that's edible. You know, human edible. You know, the other animals can eat it, but we're having a hard time eating it. Anyways, I'm trying to grasp myself because this is the first time that I knew that I knew one farmer wasn't tending to his big farm, but I didn't know that practically every one of them, you know, are not tending to their farm. They're just tending to their boats and making money on their boats. And I don't know, maybe they can eat the boat when things get rough. Okay. Thank you. Goodbye, Lord Nrsingadev. Ugram Viram Mahavishnum Salam Tam Sarvato Mukam Nrshingam Vishram Bhadram Michuramamiham. Of course, you know, that's like a protective mantra. And this is a Nrsinga in Ras. Yeah, this is Nrsinga in Madhurya Ras. This is not Nrsinga in Ugra Ras. Right, Lord Nrsingadev? You're not Nrsinga in Ugra Ras. You're Nrsinga in... I think it's even stronger. I mean, I don't think anybody can beat Prem Ras. I think Prem Ras, if you put Prem Ras and Ugra Ras together in a, you know, like a boxing match, a knockout, a first round knockout. Prem Ras would knock out Ugra Ras. So this is Ugram Viram Havishnum. No. This is not him. But still it's his verse. So we have to honor that verse. Ugram Viram Havishnum Jalam Tam Sarvadum Kam Nrshingam Vishram Bhadram Michuramamiham. If you ask for protection, you cross your arms over your heart. And then you can't beg for prem. In prem, the arms are uplifted, open palms, and asking prem to come down and shower you. So that Bhakti Rakshaka Sridhar Dev, he even shows, he says, I'm not going to do a kavacha because then I can't beg for prem. And that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is begging for prem, always with his hands raised high, asking for that prem to come down. So, I still like him. We won't reject your verse. Ukram Viram Havishtum Jalam Dam Sarvato Mukam Nrshingam Vishram Bhadram Michuramamiham. But we'll take it in a dramatic way. Not in a realistic way. It's a drama way. You're making some drama of Ugram. Yeah, you're making some drama Ugram, where actually you're Prem Ras personified. Jai Nrsingadev, Jai Nrsingadev.